Hi, Dr. Paul Haider here. You know, sometimes we just wake up feeling down. We get up on the grumpy side of the bed, you know. And sometimes you just kind of feel like the world's against us, and you know that today is not a good day. But then we allow those clouds to come in and take over our brain, and we kind of do it to ourselves. There's no doubt about that. Even because you could take a man who meditates a lot, and you could take a man who, says the name of God over and over and over again. You can take a man who constantly kind of sees the world but detaches from it because he knows that's not the reality of the situation. That everything I create on the inside, and I'm one with that which is the oneness of everything. And they don't usually go that way. Yeah, they don't get sad on the average. They actually see the suffering of people like Buddha did. But they don't allow themselves to jump down the hole with the other person. Because that doesn't do any good whatsoever. I think of Franklin Delano Roosevelt. Here's a man who has polio and then has to be in a wheelchair, and then he has these big, bulky braces, and he really doesn't allow people to see the other side of him, where he tends to be a little sad about what happened. Wouldn't anybody? That he can't walk. Well, he did walk. He could walk a few feet and make it to the podium, but he always had that smile on, and he would allow the world to know that things are going to get better. Even during the Great Depression, he was always smiling, and that lifted people up, and it made them feel like we have a chance to change this world. We have a chance to change the country. 1 in 3 people were unemployed. There were a lot of people with no food. Out of 48 states, the 40 states, all the banks had gone under, and people were withdrawing their money, and it was a terrible time. Even on the front lawn of the White House, they had little shanties in front of there, and it was terrible. And people had nothing, and they were lined up in soup lines. So he needed to be cheerful and uplifting in order to make a change in the world. If we go around like this, everything is bad, everything is not good, do we think we're going to change the world? I kind of doubt it. If we go around, saying all the negativity about what's going on, it's not going to change anything. We have to lift ourselves up, and then we lift other people up at the same time. It's really important, and things do happen. It's inevitable. In fact, we have a friend in the hospital right now, and she's dying of cancer, and it's inevitable. But she's kind of holding on, and a little afraid of going to the other side of the veil. But to be a cheerful face, to be a loving face, to be a kind face, to embrace her and tell her it's okay. Those things help people to move to their greatest ability to be themselves and change the world in amazing ways. We have this ability built into us. It's not something that we have to, go out and learn. It's just kind of like Teddy Roosevelt. He was gonna die basically as a little kid, and he just put on a big fighting face, showed those teeth and said, "Bully, I'm going to make it or break it," type of thing. And he went moving through the world, and he did amazing things. Started our national park system, went on to be a great president in all kinds of different ways. And he just had this drive and determination. And if he was just sitting around going, "Oh, I don't know about it, there's too many bad things happening in the world," I don't think that would have happened. we have to lift ourselves up, you know. In fact, Teddy Roosevelt said, you know, I faked it until I made it. And he was one of the first people to say that. In fact, you know, he was faking it on the inside until he actually believed in what he was doing. And sometimes we have to be that way. We have to fake it until we make it. And it takes great discipline. You know, discipline is everything. Um, I think it's really important to develop discipline. You know, if you practice piano, you get really good at it. And then you have to practice and practice and practice it until it becomes second nature. You don't even have to think about where your fingers are going. It's kind of like being a great chef, you know what I mean? If you make a great sauce, if you make a hollandaise sauce or something, you don't even have to think about it. You know exactly how to do it, when to do it, and when to whip it, everything, till it becomes that way, perfection every single time. And it doesn't become that way until you do the repetition over and over and over again. And, you know, that's why a sous chef has to be cutting up so many vegetables. Has to be making so many sauces, because you don't get to that greatness until you actually master some of the mundane things that you have to do. And that's exactly what we have to do in general. We have to master discipline in order to find the greatness inside, so that we can move forward in a powerful way to change lives. And sometimes that means, you know, taking our woes and just turning them around and making them a gleeful smile, and telling ourselves that, you know, today is a joyful way, a joyful thing, and a joyful happiness, that we can smile towards the world and know that we create a world according to the great plan. And it was very interesting. I was reading about a car. It was up in the northwestern area of the United States, and there was a bunch of people in it. In fact, a little 5-year-old boy was in it, and it was raining like crazy, and it started raining so much that their low wheels lost traction, and they careened off of a hill and went down 100 feet, and everybody in the car died except the little boy. He was left on the side of the road. And the police finally came, and they found the little boy, and he was standing there, and said, "How'd you get out of that car?" And he said, "A giant hand grabbed me and took me outside the car and set me on the road." Now, why would a little boy make that up? There are greater things going on here, my friends. We have divine beings all around us. We have our archangels that are watching over us. And we have to uplift ourselves to that level, so that we become the divine being, the divine angel, to help other people. And when we do that, everything changes in our life, because we help end suffering. And that's why we're here, to end suffering. So first of all, fake it until you make it. Put on that happy face. Go out and chase away the rain clouds inside your mind, and allow yourself to uplift others, so that they too can see the sun shining bright on their day. Thus, you not only change their world, you also change your world, and you change your heart, and you change your soul by making it just a little bit brighter every single day that you're alive. Have a wonderful day. I love you.